At the time that the documentation came in, I was unwell. I'd been off work for about a year. My early years teacher is also my daughter, Phoebe Arthur. And to keep me in the loop, she would bring home documentation and sort of nag me a little bit about, what was going on and what we needed to do next. If I'm honest with you, when I looked at the documentation, first of all, I had some concerns. It all felt a little bit loose. I am a reception teacher myself, and, I used to like to know what the children were doing at all times. So I had some concerns, and I just pondered on it for a while. However, Fee then did a master's paper, and she distilled what was in the documentation into, if you like, easy speak, which was lovely. I proofread that, and I have to say to you, the arguments and the research was really convincing that we needed to make some changes. Because I was off work, I really felt that Fee needed to convince the senior leadership team who were running the school at the time. And she did that quite effectively, I think. She used the enabling learning document, and she came into our setting and she took lots and lots and lots of photos of good practice. We had a lot of good practice here. However, what she did was she used the enabling learning document to highlight some of the gaps in our practice, that we were a little bit rigid, we were a little bit formal, possibly the children didn't have as much ownership as they liked on the curriculum. And I have to say to you, the senior leadership team were absolutely sold on what she presented. And then we just took a big deep breath and jumped in. We come into the nursery, everybody in school wants to come down to nursery and reception. It's a really very lovely, relaxed and happy place. And it's really interesting because we're still weaving all of those basic skills through everything that we do. The children are clearly still learning. I remember Phoebe saying to me, Mum, these children are 3, 4 and 5, right? They're 3, 4 and 5-year-olds. And it's really, really important that we are giving them those opportunities. She keeps saying they're tiny people and they don't need to be sat down all of the time. When we walk in, the children run up to us and they show us what they've done, what they've made. They give us hugs. They're very loved down here, which is really nice. And I think that's because we've taken the pressure off the staff. So I'm thrilled. I think it's a happier place. I think the children are more engaged. Their concentration is much, much better, because we're allowing them to develop their concentration in different environments. It's not just come and sit down and concentrate. You can concentrate when you're playing in the blocks. You can concentrate when you're playing with the clay. So the children's really, really easy. In terms of the staff, what I see is the staff are more engaged. I think the staff are more engaged. I think they've got more ownership of what they're doing. I think they understand that they can lead the curriculum. They're listening to the children. They're looking for those sparks. And so therefore, I think that rather than the LSAs feeling that they are doing what the teacher asks, actually they're a part of this big team which is shaping the way forward for the children on a daily basis.
Prior to our changes, we had a really good inspection, but I felt that that was on the foundation phase curriculum, which really suited the curriculum at the time, but we've got the new curriculum now. And after completing some research for my Masters in Early Childhood Development, I really felt that early years practice, especially reception, got swept away into foundation phase, and the play became a directing opportunity, not a facilitating opportunity. So often children were asked to do a task, and what we experienced were at times, maybe it wasn't suitable for the learners, it wasn't the right thing to be doing, and now we've stripped that back, we can see we can really plan and facilitate those opportunities. These children are 3 to 5. They need to have all the good foundations in place to build a love of learning before we can bring those formal options in, which, can happen further on in the school. They don't need to do it at 3 and 5. And, I think it's been amazing to really have the opportunity to think about what do we want for these learners. There's themes that can go right across the school, but early years should stand on their own. And Learners should have time to play, develop social skills, because if we don't do it now, there's going to be gaps right through the school. I think they were really eager, and I think they knew it was the right thing to do, but they were apprehensive. But we started by looking at the enabling document, and especially looking at that enabling adult, and unpick what the themes were. And I think deep down they knew it was absolutely right. They've had a good year now at using, the enabling document and thinking about what is an enabling adult, and I can really see them grasping it now and kind of moving away from the teacher tells us what to do and how we're going to plan, and actually we're all facilitating together. We've got a planning board which they absolutely love, and everyone can go and scribe, everyone can use it, because they see just as much as me, and I can't do my job without them. So we worked really hard with parents, and we understood that this could be a very dramatic change to parents. We wanted to ensure that they understood why we were doing this process. So when we changed, we did do an open evening, and we talked about early childhood development. And there were some parents who were thinking, oh, is my child still going to learn to read? Are they still going to write? Are they still going to do maths? And we really emphasised yes, but in their way. They're still doing all of these lovely things, and by reception they will still, they will know how to read, they will know how to write, but at their level. So we've really focused on parental engagement and getting them in, coming to see the environment. We often do open evenings, we call them open houses, where the children and the parents can come in, and we've had just such a positive response. We had a brilliant letter where a parent governor has called this the Great Experiment, and in this letter he just said how he can see his little girl is well-rounded. Her confidence has grown, and she's got all those lovely academic things, but she's got almost the glitter all on the top. And it was a really lovely, heartwarming letter to say, well done, we're absolutely doing the right thing for our children. So we really want to look at our staff and our knowledge of our LSAs. I'm currently doing a master's paper on this, and I really believe that the LSAs need the same professional learning opportunities as teachers. I think as teachers we get a lot more opportunities, and that's often not the school's fault. That's to do with timetabling, and LSAs work different hours. But as the LSAs are taking on a different role, they absolutely need to know things like schematic development. We're going down the Frobel approach. We can't just say we're going to do it without them having an understanding. So we really, really want to look at opportunities for LSAs to engage in professional learning. I've spoken to my head teacher about often training days not being relevant to early years. So could we have a training day that is designated to early years pedagogy, and the staff having time to go out and see good practice? I'm really lucky to work for the EAS with two categories, almost supporting schools and supporting the non-maintained settings. I really want my LSAs to go to the non-maintained settings who have been using the non-maintained curriculum now for longer than us, and go and see good practice. And on that note, we're also supporting schools. They can send their LSAs to us, they can send their teachers to us. I really want to work on that. I just mentioned Frobels. That is something we're really, really interested in. I was really pleased my staff went to a conference recently, and they said, wow, this is just what we need. We've introduced sewing, and we've introduced clay, and we can already see the benefit of that. We really want to unpick more principles of Frobels, but ensure the staff are just as trained as me. Sometimes I think I've got it all in my head, but that needs to be disseminated now to staff, so everyone is just as upskilled as myself.